And you're still doing CCS charging for it?
We are deciding that now. I think you know what way it might be going.
Today we'll take you behind the scenes with a former Tesla engineer and co-founder of the coolest travel trailer you'll ever see. The Lightship L1 is an all-electric, self-propelled, and a near-zero range loss trailer for EVs, and its solar roof can even power your home or charge your EV. So let's get into it. Alright guys, before we jump in, I wanted to remind you that today's sponsor, Secan Action Fund, one of the top nonprofits fighting climate change, is running their annual raffle, and they even told me that I can purchase my own ticket, so I just did. I'm really excited about this year's raffle because you actually have one of the highest odds of winning. They're only selling 5,500 tickets, and the prizes have some really insane cars on them. You get to pick between a Lucid Air, a Rivian R1 SRT, or a Plaid Model X, plus 10 years worth of free charging. The winner gets to choose. And they've only sold about half the tickets, so this is really the best odds that you will ever have. Support a great cause with some really cool cars. The tickets are only $200. You can get them at evraffle.org. I'll link it down below, but it's evraffle.org. The raffle runs for a few more weeks and they sold out last year, so make sure you get yours now. All right, let's get back to the video. It's a well-known fact that long-distance towing, especially with an EV, isn't for the faint of heart.
If you try to tow a normal travel trailer behind an EV, you'll see anywhere from 50% to 2/3 of your range go away.
Ben Parker is the co-founder of Lightship, the first American electric RV manufacturer, and he has quite the resume as a former engineer for Tesla. He worked on the battery for both Model 3 and the Cybertruck.
So even if you have a 300-mile rated EV, you can expect it to be about 100 miles when you're towing, and as you know, 100 miles in a lot of parts of the country, you're barely making it between the fast chargers.
And after a road trip with their Model X, pulling the most efficient trailer they could find, Ben and co-founder Toby, also a former Tesla employee, saw the need for an electric travel trailer that propelled itself, and they came up with something that's 3 times more aerodynamic than a classic one.
A lot of the story of the outside is a story of efficiency. We realized that the only way that the pickup truck can go electric is for RVs to go electric as well. Actually, a lot of people ask us, what the heck is that when they see it, because it does not look like a traditional RV. We basically took modern automotive styling and applied it to a travel trailer, and that's why it looks kind of sleek and integrated and almost like a spaceship.
I feel like it looks like something you could live inside of.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, wait till you get into the inside. It's like a modern micro apartment. Like many modern cars, it's a very integrated design. So the windows, for instance, are flush to the body. That both looks good, it looks very clean. It's also great for aerodynamics because you really want it to be kind of a single smooth surface for the whole body of the vehicle. If the vehicle were not as aerodynamic as it is, the size of battery that we would need to put on board to propel it for 300 miles would be way too big. So it would make it too heavy, it would be too costly. We put an EV powertrain on it, so it has about a Model 3 sized battery and then a motor as well, which maybe we can peek under and see.
I'd love to.
So it's a new type of trailer. It is a trailer with a range assist system or a propulsion system, and that motor helps the trailer push itself so that the truck, as it's towing it, doesn't feel the weight of the trailer anymore as you're going down the highway, and that means it also doesn't lose any range. So now what was a 100-mile EV truck when it came to towing is back up to a full 300 miles of range, so you can actually do a long-distance EV road trip with it.
And you can pull it with just like a traditional ICE vehicle as well, right?
Oh, totally.
And then you would probably save quite a bit of money on gas if you were doing it that way.
Yeah, you go from probably 8 to 10 miles per gallon with a normal trailer up to pretty much your normal highway fuel economy, so 20 to 25 miles per gallon, which if you're doing long road trips like we were just talking about, you're probably saving at least hundreds of dollars in fuel costs per road trip.
I love the taillights there too. Those are really nice.
I love it too. We have an amazing design team led by Rob Williams, he was actually the chief creative officer at Rivian for a couple of years. Okay. So one of the key designers of both the truck and the SUV, and also the brand that Rivian now shows. And you can see a little bit of that heritage in some of the styling here. I
feel like I can see it a lot right here.
Yeah.
These, when it's down, are they down here?
Yeah, exactly. Like? So you can see the brake point right here, and we can show it in the photos too. But basically, this whole, from this point down, moves about 3 feet.
Okay.
So the tail lamp stops right here.
Okay.
It hovers
Very
just
cool.
above the bumper. Right now you're looking at the vehicle in camping mode. So camping mode means that it's sort of fully elevated. The top half of the vehicle, which we call the canopy, is raised all the way up, and that gives you this beautiful kind of spacious interior experience, which we'll feel as you get in. But this canopy will also drop down about 3 feet as the vehicle goes into its road mode, which we call it. And in the road mode, you can imagine it looks like a bullet shape. These covers here, they cover the wheels. So that's another aerodynamics thing where you really want to
How many wheels are there?
2. It's a double axle trailer. Yeah, you can sort of see the tires peeping out on the bottom there. This is at the gross vehicle weight of the trailer, so fully loaded with cargo and water. It weighs 7,500 pounds, so it's towable by any sort of full size SUV, but it's a big vehicle.
Yeah, and are the batteries all on the bottom?
Yeah, exactly. So that we have 2 40 kilowatt hour battery packs that combine together to be an 80 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is kind of like Model 3. Yeah, you can take a peek at it.
Amy, come in here and look at this.
Yeah, see if you can get that one with me. Do you see those? 1 and 2 right there. They're sort of facing each other, the big silver blocks there. So each of those is 40 kilowatt hours. They're basically commercial grade automotive EV batteries, and will perform just as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, a little more. There's this will be pass through storage. We actually I can just give you a peek right now. This is actually more of our electronics bag. Of course, this is our first prototype.
Yeah, this is a prototype, so it's always going to...
Our alpha vehicle. We're very proud. This is actually our first Lightship sort of in-house developed circuit board. One of the things that is really key that we're kind of bringing to the industry and ultimately to the products is doing really deep engineering development, which you don't find in a lot of other RVs. This is sort of automotive levels of engineering now brought to a new space and a new type of product. Your water hookup.
Okay.
All that sort of stuff. This is an interesting story on we call this the tongue box. You can peek a little bit behind there. There's a lot under this cover. Typically on a normal RV, this is where the propane cans would go, but of course we don't have propane bottles. And so what we used it for instead is the air conditioner. Normally an RV air conditioner would be up on the roof, but that tends to be very loud. It's also not very efficient aerodynamically because it's like a little brick in the way. And so what we did is we put all of the loud parts of the air conditioner. It's a bidirectional heat pump system, just like you're showing up in sort of all modern EVs. We put those loud bits, like the compressor, for instance, out on the tongue here, so they're really isolated from the living space, and you're not going to hear the air conditioner running when it's going. In fact, when we step in, it is running. Kim, do you see the start of the solar up there? Do you see how it's actually built into the roof line?
Oh, yeah.
There's a very slight change in the color of the roof.
That's
so that
really
extends
cool.
all the way back.
It doesn't look like a traditional solar panel. It's just like part of the roof, very subtly built in.
One of our design mantras that we always repeat is that everything is built in, not bolted on. The idea is it should all be thought of in advance, and it should be a thoughtful product.
Between the solar roof and the extended awning, the L1 has a 3 kilowatt solar array.
The typical American home has 4 to 5 kilowatts, so it's almost as much solar as you put on your house roof, which is enormous for an RV. On a nice day like today, probably 15 to 20 kilowatt hours. So that would be on the Lightship. That'd be like a 20 to 25% charge, and that applies to an EV as well. So you probably get a 20 or 25% charge per day. If for instance you were off. I don't know if you're like doing an excursion for the day, or if you're off overlanding, you go deeper into the woods, something like that, and then you come back to the Lightship, so you haven't been inhabiting it and using it all day. You could take the energy that it's generated, plug the Lightship into your truck.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
So
you can charge. You can level 2 charge your truck, so 25, 30 miles an hour of charging speed. Charge the truck off of the L1.
That's awesome. Where is the charger on the L1?
The charge port is over on the other side, although in production we're actually moving it up to the tongue box here, so it'll be a little more accessible.
So it'll be right on the front?
Yeah, it'll be right, maybe on the other side, but right at waist height. And
you're still doing CCS charging for it?
We are deciding that now. I think you know what way it might be going, but Still ironing
I was
out the
wondering
details.
if that was going to be kind of, it seems like everybody's sort of switching over. But at the same time, like...
Actually, do you want to hear something kind of funny? Troy, who is, he's one of our leaders on the team. We have a number of people who sort of came from Tesla roots in addition to me and Toby. And Troy is kind of, he runs software and controls engineering for us. He's a little bit of a local celebrity within the team right now because he ran the charger team at Tesla for years, including like Model S era, and so his team had produced the NACS connector, like that standard.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool to step right up.
All right.
Yeah, so welcome into the L1.
It is the ceilings. The first thing I notice is the
Can you
ceiling.
touch the ceiling?
No. What is it?
Not quite. It's almost a residential ceiling. It's 7.5 feet. You know, really tall people come into it, like 7-footers, and they're like, this is the first RV I've ever been able to stand in without my head scraping.
And it also makes it feel so much roomier.
Oh yeah,
Like
totally.
having that space. It's just like, your house, if you have higher ceiling heights, it just feels
It's kind of
roomier.
open and spacious. Combination of panoramic wraparound windows like you'd see in a train car, like a viewing car or something like that, and the residential ceiling. We say it's the L1 sleeps 4 to 6, and it kind of depends on how you configure the vehicle. So this would be in the 4-person setup right now. This is the queen bed area, and there's a foot that pulls out there. This is your second bed, so it's a dining table most of the time, but it also drops down, so you can see it's
very cool.
This becomes like your second sleeping surface, and you put a mat over top of it.
Oh yeah. So this is like the base, and then you just right there.
So that
wow.
that's you can imagine it's certainly enough for two kids or like adolescents. It's enough for a big person as well.
Yeah.
So that gets you to your 4, and then if you have another person or two, like 2 extra kids, we're also building a lofted bed in. So this will be an option where you can select to have the lofted bed. It's almost like a tent platform. It's up in the ceiling there, and then it'll drop down to about this height. So then you're kind of bunked. One thing that's not shown in here as well around the sleeping setup is that we're going to have a privacy curtain that comes across like this. It's a pull down curtain, and that will at least visually separate the sleeping space from the rest. If maybe you put the kids to bed early and you still, the parents still want to have a glass of wine after hours or something like this. This is sort of utensils, pots and pans. Let's see if, this is kind of the kitchenette area. So it's like a studio kitchen. You'd have, of course, a double drawer fridge like that.
Awesome.
Separate freezer. A little pull-out drawer.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even for a family to go out for a week. Kind of one of the goals is that a family should be able to go out for a week and even be off grid and still be comfortable the whole way through, and not sort of like counting beans. You'll appreciate this. There's a microwave, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What every family needs.
Yeah, exactly. What else would you do when you're camping? Pull the Stouffer's lasagna out of the freezer.
Keep it easy.
Into the microwave. An induction cooktop. So obviously every appliance is electric here, including the cooktop. So it's induction cooktop, and then which these are actually great. I've been using this for a while now, and you can boil water in like less than 5 minutes. They're very super efficient and fast. Then one of my favorites, I think especially if you're cooking for a bunch of people.
I'm sold right here. This is all I need.
The 6-setting dishwasher. Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
It's pretty awesome. I think part of this, there's a funny story where Toby and I were out camping again, and we'd been debating about whether to do the dishwasher, and we were camping up in the eastern slope of the Rockies, and we had made this big pasta dinner, and it was 10:30. We had a couple glasses of whiskey. We were like so ready to just fall asleep, and then it was rock paper scissors on who was going to do the dishes.
And it's always me.
Yeah, right, and it's always Kim. And so yes, you are saved. Speaking of saving, what's kind of funny about this is that once with an all electric RV like this, when you're always going to have the power to run a dishwasher, for instance, this ends up making a lot of sense from a water saving standpoint, because on average you use about twice as much water hand washing your dishes versus using a dishwashing machine. So it'll actually extend your time off grid.
I'm quoting you on this because my husband and I always have that conversation.
Yeah.
He likes to hand wash, and I'm like all about the dishwasher, and I'm like, it's more efficient. You use less water.
Want to step into the bathroom?
All right.
Here. I'll be in here taking a shower.
All right.
You can be on the other side.
You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Just queen on her throne. So it's a we call it a dry bath setup in the sense that there's a partition you can pull down again. So if two people are getting ready for dinner, one person can be using the sink space, and another person is taking a shower. Yeah. If you were using this just as a bathroom area and you wanted more counter space, you could pull that up.
What are these materials?
It's really cool, isn't it? It's a British company. They integrate a lot of, I think it's actually ocean recaptured plastics into the countertop material. So there's, but actually both in here, there's a lot of recaptured plastic, and then there's also a lot of recycled material in the floor as well. And we're making sure that a lot of the the core materials on the inside are sustainably sourced or have some sustainable component to them.
I don't know if you guys are able to fully see this, but it's roomy. My mom has an RV, and she goes, and her toilet is part of her shower.
Yeah.
Which it just feels very crammed to me. I don't know how she
does
it.
Yeah, and I mean, when the toilet's wet after a shower or something like that, there's an ick factor to it all. So yeah, we another thing that actually it's pretty funny. Multiple of our industrial designers have done tight bathroom design before. Yeah. Like Jessica, who I mentioned, she worked on airplanes before this, so you'll see a lot of sort of airplane style elements. I can turn on the overhead light later, and you can see that too. One thing that she did was airplane bathroom design, which is the problem is all about how do you make a comfortable bathroom in a very small space, and I think they did a great job.
Are you going to add one of those over here too on this side?
We could, should we?
I mean, more counter space is always, and if it's just an easy
a pull up like that.
Pull up? I don't know.
Okay, I like that. There's you may not have seen. There's also.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, right. Put it in the comments. Another feature that's they call it a photochromatic glass. Yeah. So this is like a film layer where you can touch a button and the whole thing ghosts out.
I've seen some like videos of that, and it's so cool. I actually want that for my personal house.
Yeah. It's super convenient. I mean, especially when you have a lot of windows, it's nice to be able to one touch, make them private.
Yeah, you have that privacy, but then at the same time, like, be able to just look at it, have it as a regular window.
Yeah, no, I'm optimistic that it's something that's going to go to production.
That would be amazing. I hope that does. I really hope that does.
Okay. One more vote for yes.
Yes. Again, you guys have to vote too in the comments, because hopefully you'll look at all these comments and see what people are saying.
I personally obsess over every video and every review that we get, and I read every comment. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. I'm also kind of addicted to YouTube. It's basically, a very modern, open, kind of spacious space on the inside, and it's meant to really connect you to the outdoor environment, because that's why we all go camping, is to feel immersed in nature. In this sense, you can just be comfortable while you're doing it too, and go for longer periods. And then the outside is all about being beautiful and efficient. And ultimately, I think a lot of actually, here, wait, there's one more thing that I want to show you guys.
I was going to ask if there's like an app or how you control and see all the...
A from-scratch infotainment system as well.
Does this come with it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think any good modern electric vehicle should have a well-integrated infotainment system. You can see everything that's going on the Lightship. You can control it from here. The beauty of it is you can do over-the-air updates, so it's going to continue to improve over time with good suggestions like you're giving me. You can go in, of course, you can control all the lights. For instance, we'll have some manual switches for those as well, but this is kind of the main center for it all. You can do your climate control, see what's happening with the doors and windows. This can act as kind of like a checklist. Mm-hmm. This is where you raise and lower the canopy of the RV, going between camping and road mode. See your tank status, how much water do I still have, all of that. Energy status as well, see what's happening with the solar, with the battery.
So I think that's really cool. I love being able to see all those stats.
It's great. Yeah, it's great, right? I think we'll go deeper with this too, because
people love that.
Yeah, to know what's really going on is great. Right now we're charging the battery off of the solar array. Just sort of like pull the blinds. You're cozy at the campsite, have a movie night. Everybody's hanging out inside the the lounge area here, and sort of, you know, the whole family's gathered around, and then you're you know, watching Star Wars or something like that.
For sure.
That will be good.
Like, this could be very cozy and, like, just, like, watch. It's a good viewing.
Yeah.
Viewing space for sure.
Yeah.
I could definitely envision my family in this.
Hanging out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I like the size of it. Like, it's such a nice size because it doesn't feel crammed at all in here. In terms of production timeline and the price that you're seeing this going at, how's that working out?
Yeah, what's all that? So price first, it starts at $125. So it's a, you know, it's a premium travel trailer, but not to mention names, there are many other travel trailers that sell at the same price, and I think you get a lot less. And you can option it up to, you know, $150 or $160, something like that. One of the main choices is whether you want to have the L1 Essential, which is just all electric camping, or the L1 Long Range, which doubles the size of the battery pack and puts the drive unit in there. And I think people who are towing with EVs in particular are very likely to get the long range, so they have that long range. So that's pricing. And then production schedule, we are on track to begin production at the very end of next year, and then we'll ramp production throughout 2025. And we've gotten a lot of pre-orders already, and I think we're gonna be working hard to get, you know, go through that bank all throughout 2025, and we're working on ways to increase the capacity of the production system as well, so we can get people their L1s quickly.
Very cool. And where are these being built?
Our first production facility is in Colorado. It's just, generally speaking, the company does kind of product development in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and then more kind of commercial and operations and production happens in Colorado. So we just got a facility north of Denver, about 20 minutes. It's in Broomfield, Colorado, and it's a, you know, big open manufacturing space, and we'll do, you know, sort of start of serial production there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. What other questions do you guys have? Leave them in the comments because we know that you actually read them.
I might even respond.
So definitely comment down below. I'm curious what you guys think and what you like. If there's any room for improvement, put it down there. What you guys want to see. Sounds like you're into customer feedback.
Oh, totally.
As well.
I mean, it's honestly one of my favorite parts of coming to these shows in particular is getting to have people experience it for the first time and hear what you think of it, because this product design is pretty locked at this point, but there's always chances to sort of modify little things as we go into production, and of course we have multiple other products sort of already in planning right now, and I really care about making a product that people actually
I
want.
love it. And also L1 is what I call my firstborn. All my kids are L's, so I have L1, L2, and L3.
We are also going to have an L1, an L2, and an L3.
That's so funny. So we have so much in common.
So for you.
All right. So thank you. This is Ben Parker, who, as you guys know, is the uncle of Spider-Man. And with great power comes great responsibility. So
just
you're
trying to
doing
live that every day.
Yep, you're doing a great job with
Thanks.
that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
I'm going to talk
See
a
more of
little
it?
bit about how the whole food truck thing. I think that's so interesting. Like, your inspiration was like eating from food trucks and being like, oh, this, like, the gas is running and you smell it and the emissions and like.
Yeah, they say, I think many startups have kind of winding journeys to becoming who they are, as we all do as people. And where all of this started was not with RVs. It was originally with food trucks. When I was still working at Tesla in California, this is at the headquarters in Palo Alto. I and many of my coworkers would eat at this sort of rotating circuit of food trucks that would come to the headquarters every day and park in the parking lot. And obviously it's a great experience to eat at a food truck, but one of the most annoying things about it was that they all ran generators, and so, usually a propane or a gas generator, and these things are just like loud and stinky, and typically you have two food trucks, and so the generator exhaust of one is blowing all the fumes into the order window of the next, and I was just over it. So I thought it was kind of ironic that the technology like power walls and things like that were needed to electrify those trucks was literally on the other side of the wall, and I felt like I had to do something to try to bring that technology to food trucking. And so I had a probably 8 or 9 month project where I was just going around the San Francisco Bay Area, meeting all the food truckers I could, and working on this project to electrify their trucks. And then RVing would always come up in conversation when I was telling people about the food truck project, just because there are similar needs between a food truck and an RV, where you want to run a lot of kitchen appliances and things like that on board the vehicle. And so then I started looking into RVing as well, and saw that it is an enormous pastime. It's like a part of Americana. It's the kind of fact that always blows my mind is that by the numbers, 1 in 10 American families owns an RV.
Oh, really?
So this is like 10% of the country is RVing and are owning RVs. And I saw that and I was like, wow, okay, this is amazing. This is, this is a pastime that will benefit from going electric, which I learned a lot more about, the coming summer, because I ended up quitting Tesla and went on a huge...
COVID hit and everyone was like, I need an RV because we have to like social distance.
Yeah, where America generally has a charging infrastructure problem right now. It's something that is... I think holding up the growth of electrification of cars a bit. With RVing, it's kind of a little bit of a loophole, because many RV parks or RV campgrounds have high power plugs built in. So the way I think about it is that destination charging is effectively built into the experience.
Already there.
So yeah, you'll come with your
L1.
Your
infrastructure is like already made with RVing.
Yeah.
It really is. And I always said that too when we were doing road trips just with our Tesla. I'm like, in a pinch, we just find like a campground and we can charge.
It doesn't really hold dirt much.
Cool. And it looks like these are, you can unzip them, take them off and wash them. I am a mom.
You're so perceptive.
These are
I
the
love
things
this.
that I look for when, having kids, like, we get dirty.
Yeah.
Like, I need something that I can like easily like unzip these, throw them in the washing machine when I get home, and then put them back on. And I see that right there. I see zippers, and I'm like, that's a good sign.
Yes, you said it. That's the idea. They're all going to be. You can pull the. This is a woven. It's called a 3D knit fabric, and you can pull them off, toss it in the wash. You'll probably maybe do this once a season or something like that, after you guys have been out getting it dirty for a bit.
Or, you haven't met me.
Well, yeah. I guess y'all don't even have a pet yet.
But we have 2 boys that are messy, and then I have a 3-year-old. So
yes,
no. I love this big table too. You can easily fit a group right there, and play a game as you guys have. The back.
Yeah, it's blocks for the kids, backgammon
I love it.
for
I know,
grandma.
exactly. But you can envision that for sure. Like, I could really see all of us like hanging out here. So where is the storage? Because that's also a big thing.
So there's the underbed storage that you caught a peep of. So that'll be the pass-through garage there. Then there's a storage console along the passenger side of the vehicle. So you've got a few bins like this, 4 of them. You can imagine if you have like a 4-person family, each person gets a bin, and we'll probably have sort of custom packing cubes that you can use for that space. You can pack in the house and then bring it out here, or vice versa with the dirty laundry. Those are kind of 2 of the main ones. There's a little bit of under-seat storage under here as well, and then there's sort of there's a system that we've set up that we affectionately call the garage, and the idea is that it's a portion of it is a flexible storage system where you can trade the overhead window space for these overhead duffels. We call these the gear rails. Here you can see there's gear rails on either side.
I have something similar in my garage at home.
Yeah,
I store like all my bikes and whatever on, and it's like a track system. It's
meant to be very flexible. So if it's a larger family or maybe a couple who's going out for a long time and they know they'll need the extra storage, then they might stack up the duffels up above. But if you're going on more of like an adventure focused trip, or it's a shorter trip, you will probably end up putting your gear up there. So it could be like skis or snowboards or fishing poles, kayaks, even stuff like that. My co-founder Toby and I, one of the first things that we did when we started the company was to go on a long sort of EV/RV road trip. So we had a long-range Tesla Model X, and I rented the most efficient sort of normal trailer that I could find behind it, and I towed it from California to Colorado, where Toby lives and half of our company is, and then we both went back to California together, and we spent more time charging than driving. We hit literally every supercharger across the way. We wouldn't have been able to make it across Nevada had a supercharger in Wells, Nevada, not just been installed, like a couple months before we did the trip. And then on the return leg, as we were passing, I think it was from Grand Junction, Colorado, back into Utah, we hit a headwind, and we were kind of deep in conversation, so we didn't notice that we'd hit the headwind. And when I looked down at the range estimate, I was like, oh my gosh, we're not going to make it to the next charger.
Did you get stranded?
I realized it just in time, and so we pulled off to a middle of nowhere, no services exit. We dropped the trailer and then drove at 40 or 45 miles an hour on the freeway for the next 15 or 20 miles to get to the charger. We charged, we went back.
But
for
you're
the trailer.
like an EV-minded person that has the sense to do that? Like the average person probably would just get stranded.
So the two of us and many of the people on the Lightship team are just steeped in sort of the EV history, and we still screwed up over this. So it is totally infeasible without a product like this to go electric RVing, has been our experience. Do you want to hear another funny anecdote? So I that first summer, as we were just setting up the company, I went out. I quit Tesla. We went into lockdown basically right at the same time, and I called this. I had an idea in mind that I was going to go on an RV road trip, but both kind of for personal soul searching and because I wanted to explore the company. And I hadn't done a ton of RVing myself growing up, so I feel like I needed to kind of live the lifestyle to understand it. And so I called this family RV rental business. Steve and Shelley are the owners in Antioch, California, and this was right as lockdown started. And they were their phone had not rung in like a week because everyone was kind of scared stiff because there was so much uncertainty. And so they gave me a nice rate on the RV because I told them I wanted to go out for a few months. And then but I said, I want to put all my kind of ducks in order. I want to make sure that this is the right thing for me to leave Tesla and go do this crazy RV trip. And so can you give me a few days to think about it? And they called me back a couple of days later, and they were like, Ben, if you're going to commit to this, you have to do it now because our phone is ringing off the hook. It is like, in the space of a couple days, everyone had realized that RVing was the way to, to travel safely during COVID. And so that was kind of the moment when they called me back where I was like, I put the phone down. I was like, man, all right, this is, fork in the road in my life. Do I do this? Do I change it all? Yeah. And so, right, exactly. And so the light shone down on me, and I was like, all right, I have to do it. And I called them back. Actually, I think first I called my manager and said, all right, Andrew, it's time's up. It's time for me to move on, which he'd kind of known about. And then I called Steve and Shelley back, and I was like, let's do it. I'm going RVing.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, me too.
Led to this, which is amazing.
But full circle, my girlfriend and I have a dream to turn this into our L1. We want to run as a
with all your extra
well.
time,
Yeah, at some point once we're in volume production, it's a year or two from now, I'll take a moment to do another extended road trip, and I'll treat it as my food truck.